Good afternoon. There's a lot going on here in Sri Lanka and definitely around the world. To make sure that you stay updated with the very latest, welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. Let's take a look at your top stories this afternoon. Showers increase from today. Many roads in Colombo flooded. Proposal submitted to appoint a Parliament Select Committee to probe the Channel 4 allegations. Ali Zahir Maulana sworn in as a Member of Parliament. European Union's special meeting to discuss the Israel-Hamas war. President Joe Biden to visit Israel and Jordan tomorrow. Cricket ban on Danushka Gunatilaka lifted. Now, since this morning, heavy rains were experienced in many parts of the island. Now, News First brings you a detailed report on the current weather conditions. We first take a look at the incidents that occurred due to the heavy weather today. With the rainfall that was experienced this morning, many roads in Colombo and its suburbs were inundated. This was a situation at Deans Road and Armour Street this morning. The Maradana and surrounding roads were inundated as well. As a result, traffic was severely disrupted in the area. Due to the heavy rains this morning, several byroads in the Pulhengoda area were flooded. Two sluice gates of Polgolla Mahaveli Dam have been opened due to the heavy rains experienced in the area. Water is being released to the Lower Victoria Reservoir at a speed of 3,500 cubic feet per second. Due to the heavy showers, Dharmaraja Mawatha, located off the Bolikada Talvatta road in Kandy, currently faces the risk of landslides. Meanwhile, it was reported that a large tree fell on the Kambiliweva road in Bandaravela North in the Bindunuweva area, disrupting road traffic. News First correspondents say that the Electricity Board and the Bandaravela police are working together to remove the tree and clear the road for traffic. Now, although the water levels of several main rivers in Sri Lanka are at normal levels, the Department of Irrigation informed the public today to remain vigilant nevertheless over flash floods that may occur with the heavy showers being experienced in many parts of the country. The flood level of the Nilvala River is gradually reducing. There is a probability of some areas facing flooding during the day as well. Those living in the low-lying areas of the Nilvala River should be vigilant as well. In most areas, heavy showers can be expected as well. Meanwhile, the Met Department says that the showery condition in Sri Lanka is expected to intensify from today. Now, this was due to the influence of the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Heavy showers of more than 100 millimeters are likely in some places in the Uva and Sabaragamuwa, also the central provinces as well. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, where winds from the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere converge, is affecting the island's weather. Due to its influence, the current rainy conditions of the island are expected to enhance. Showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island after 2 p.m. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in Uva, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces. Showers may occur in coastal areas of western, southern and eastern provinces and in Mana and Jaffna districts during the morning as well. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
The landslide warning issued to 9 districts have been extended. The National Building Research Organisation said Level 1 and Level 2 landslide warnings were issued in the Badulla, Gaul, Hambantota, Kandy, Kegol, Matale, Matara, Nuwara and Ratnapur districts. People living in these areas should remain vigilant of landslides and mound collapses.
We move on to some news overseas that has been making headlines throughout the world. US President Joe Biden is set to visit Israel tomorrow to meet the Israeli government officials.
US President Joe Biden is to visit Israel on Wednesday to meet Israeli government officials. He will then go on to Jordan and hold discussions with Jordanian King Abdullah, Egypt's president, and the president of the Palestinian Authority. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has completed his visit over the last several days to 6 countries in the Middle East, including Israel. Meanwhile, the US General in Command of US Middle East Forces has visited Israel yesterday to show support for Israel. The Russian resolution on humanitarian issues in Gaza at the UN Security Council on Monday has failed, with 5 votes for, 4 against, and 6 abstentions. Russia and China voted yes, while US, UK, and France voted no. The countries that voted no had wanted the resolution to include a condemnation of Hamas, but Russia had refused to include it. The United Nations says it has sent humanitarian aid for Gaza to Egypt, but it's stuck at the Rafah crossing as the crossing is closed from the Gaza side. The crossing is open from the Egypt side. Israel has attacked the Rafah crossing with airstrikes repeatedly. Tens of thousands of refugees, including many foreigners, are waiting on the Gaza side of the crossing, hoping to leave through Egypt.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's ambassador to Israel, Nimal Bandara, says that 2 more Sri Lankan women were kidnapped at the Israel-Jordan border, and he says that the Sri Lankan embassy is trying to locate the 2 women. He also adds that they are yet to receive information on the 2 other women who had been reported missing. People living in the north of Gaza have travelled to the south. The Palestinian representatives said that there are 27 Sri Lankans among them. The group hopes to travel to Egypt. The Red Cross organization has requested Hamas to provide details regarding the hostages. If we have the details, we can confirm if the 2 missing persons are among them. We are taking efforts in this regard. On Sunday, we received reports of 2 Sri Lankan women being taken hostage near the border between Jordan and Israel. We confirmed their identity at night. One of them was a Sri Lankan who had worked in Kuwait and Jordan. She is a resident of Matale. We don't have more information on the other Sri Lankan in the data system.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is holding talks with the Egyptian embassy to bring Sri Lankans living in Gaza to Sri Lanka via Egypt. The representative of the Office of Sri Lanka in Palestine, Bennett Curry, says plans are underway to evacuate the Sri Lankans via the Rafah border crossing. He adds that 17 Sri Lankans residing in the Gaza Strip are safe.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa called on the ambassador for Palestine in Sri Lanka.
The opposition leader held discussions with the Palestinian ambassador regarding the situation in Palestine due to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. He highlighted the importance of resolving conflicts that have arisen through negotiations to ensure the safety of people's lives in both countries. The opposition leader stressed that the leaders of the 2 countries should come together for lasting peace. He also expressed his sympathy and sorrow for the civilians of both countries who lost their lives and loved ones in the ongoing war.
On to some other news now here at home. Ali Zahir Maulana was sworn in as a Member of Parliament today. He was sworn in before Speaker Mahindayapa Bebardana.
අභිනව මන්ත්‍රීවරයන්ගේ නිල ප්‍රතිඥාව හෝ දිවුරුම් දීම අලි සහීර් මෞලානා සෙයිඩ් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා මැඩකල්ප මැතිවරණ කොට්ටාශ.
I, Ali Zahir Maulana Sayed, do solemnly declare and affirm that I will uphold and
Ali Zahir Maulana was appointed to the parliament seat which fell vacant following the expulsion of former minister Nazir Ahmed, who was elected to parliament representing the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress.
I wish you all the best.
The appointment was recently announced by the National Election Commission through an extraordinary Gazette notification. On the 6th of October, the Supreme Court ruled that the party's decision to remove Nazir Ahmad from the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress for acting contrary to the party's policies was a valid and legal decision. The decision was announced when the petition filed by Nazir Ahmad challenging the letter sent to remove him from the party was taken into consideration before the Supreme Court.
News first with the people.
On to some other news now. President Ranil Wickremesinghe requested business leaders in China to consider Sri Lanka as the best destination for investment.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe attended the Investment, Trade and Tourism Forum of Sri Lanka in China. Meeting leaders of state-owned enterprises and private entrepreneurs at the embassy, President Wickremesinghe requested them to consider Sri Lanka as their best destination for investment, trade and tourism. The forum was attended by over 150 representatives of more than 100 companies.
China will host the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation today and tomorrow in Beijing. The third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation will commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI, and will be a crucial platform for relevant parties to advance high-quality cooperation. According to Chinese media, representatives from over 140 countries and 30 international organizations are poised to convene in Beijing for the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. President Ranil Wickremesinghe left Sri Lanka yesterday to attend the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. We move on to some news overseas now. In the Belgian capital of Brussels, 2 Swedish tourists were shot dead and a third was wounded by a gunman whom witnesses said that shouted in Arabic.
The gunman who carried a rifle escaped after the shooting in a restaurant. The Swedes had come for the soccer match between Belgium and Sweden. Belgium and the neighboring countries such as France and Sweden have gone to the highest level of alert as police search for the gunman. The gunman who carried a rifle escaped after the shooting in a
On to some headline-making news now. Sri Lanka Cricket has announced that the Independent Inquiry Committee appointed by SLC, that's Sri Lanka Cricket, which was tasked with investigating the impact of the criminal allegations against cricketer Danushka Gunatilaka in Australia, has recommended a full lifting of the ban imposed on him. Now, the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket suspended cricketer Danushka Gunatilaka from all cricket activities in November 2022 upon learning of his arrest and charges related to alleged sexual assault in Australia during his travel as a member of the national team for the T20 World Cup in 2022. Now, the suspension was pending the outcome of legal proceedings and that were imposed considering the impact of his actions on the reputation of cricket for Sri Lanka. Now, the inquiry panel headed by retired High Court Judge Sisira Ratnayaka, attorney Niroshana Pereira and attorney Asela Rekava unanimously recommended an immediate lifting of his cricketing ban, allowing him to resume regular cricket activities and return to national duty. Now, they have also cautioned Gunatilaka to always uphold his status as a representative of the nation in all of his future actions as well. We move on to some other sports news. South Africa now will take on the Netherlands in another preliminary round match of the 2023 Cricket World Cup today. We move on to some other news now. Going back to some local news. A proposal was presented in Parliament today to appoint a Parliament Select Committee to investigate the allegations made in Britain's Channel 4 documentary regarding the April 21st attacks. Now, it should also be noted that this was presented by SLPP parliamentarian Dr. Major Pradeep Undugoda.
I am presenting the proposal to appoint a Parliament Select Committee to investigate the allegations made in Britain's Channel 4 documentary regarding the April 21st attacks. I am submitting the letter sent by the Catholic Committee for Justice to the President. The Cardinal and all other fathers and bishops are of the same stance. So in order to make this committee a success, I suggest the opposition is allowed to name the chair for us to accept the committee. For the 9/11 Commission, there were 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans each. This proposed committee should have a similar composition. If not, we cannot participate in this committee. We will decide on our participation based on the decision of the National Catholic Committee for Justice to Easter Sunday attack victims led by the Cardinal.
Bishop තුමන්ලා පියතුමන්ලාගේ ඒ තීන්දුව මතයි අපි අපේ තීන්දුව ගන්න කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්න කැමතියි.
And that's a wrap of Lunchtime News here on TV1. Stay tuned to our Primetime News Bulletin coming your way this evening as well. Bringing you the news from the news desk, I'm Sandro Satyajit signing off. Have a beautiful day.